What's up everybody, it's Joe here with Joseph Blake Photography, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the leaked images and video that we have for what is going to be the Mavic 4. So in a couple of previous videos I've talked about leaked information that we've been seeing on various blogs and websites as well as Twitter or X about the potential for an Air 3S or an Air 4. I still feel confident that should be the Air 4, and I still feel like what we're going to be seeing soon is a dual lens drone with some improvements all around, but especially the dual 1-inch sensors. That we'll be getting a 1-inch sensor for the 70mm camera and a 1-inch sensor for the 24mm camera on the dual lensed, dual sensored Air line. But the Mavic line has traditionally, or at least since the Mavic 3, has been the larger, more advanced line with the top of the line features, right? It is the flagship drone in DJI's prosumer space, right? You've got other drones that are far more advanced with bigger sensors and cameras and removable lenses and removable sensors and all that sort of thing. But the Mavic line really is the top for the kind of consumer, prosumer, pro enterprise segment that DJI lives in. And since the 3 Pro and 3 Cine, that has been a 3 sensored device. With the Mavic 3 having, the Mavic 3 Pro having the 4/3, it's a little bigger than an inch sensor on the 24mm. And then it has 2 teles. And these 3 sensors have various sizes, right? The larger 24mm, the big sensor, is a 4/3. The other, I think the 70mm or 77mm is a 1/1.3. And the 166mm, like the full telephoto, that one is a 1/2 sensor. And they all have various megapixels. I think the big one is a 20 megapixel sensor. The medium tele is a megapixel sensor, and the small one is a 12 megapixel sensor. So just a mix and match of sensors, and I think we've seen some of that in the other drones too, right? So those aren't focal lengths or sensor sizes or megapixel resolutions that are alien to users of various DJI drones. It's hard to find a DJI drone right now that doesn't have a 1/1.3 48 megapixel sensor in it. I think all of them have at least one of those. So looking at what we've seen, a couple of leaked photos that we thought might be the Air upgrade, and now we have this video of this technician that I don't know if he's taking this thing apart or if it broke and he's fixing it, or if it's a component piece that I don't know, but he's manhandling what looks to be, if you squint your eyes a little bit, looks to be like a black softball, but it is the new gimbal housing for the Mavic 4. And then a little later on in the video, we see where that comes from, and it is effectively the entire front of this drone, where previous Mavics will have almost like a shelf, an overhang off the front where your obstacle avoidance sensors are. And normally that's also, if you break that open, that's also where a lot of the processing is inside the drone. That's where the motherboard sits. And then below that, under that overhang, is normally where the gimbal is. That gives it shade. It does a couple things, but also it gives it the room that it needs to float freely and move around as it needs to, as it is reacting to the movement of the drone itself. But as you can see, as these drones have gotten larger and the sensor packages and these camera packages have gotten larger and larger, that gimbal component has gotten larger and larger. And now what it looks like we're seeing is something more akin to what you'd see on the end of a PTZ camera that is able to move in various directions, but also maintains that capability for stabilization. It looks a lot more secure. It looks a lot less likely to just bust off when you are in a crash or when maybe you have a rough landing. See the body of the drone, it looks like the lower kind of bottom belly The drone itself is more of a metallic material. That may just be a plastic cover, that may be a protective cover, we don't really know. But if it is metal or something that's a little more capable of dissipating heat, that would make sense, especially if this is doing a lot of processing. Those things do get hot, especially if you're out in the sun. Also, there are some stickers on the bottom of the drone, one of which I was able to translate, and it says, camera golden prototype, cloud platform related defects can be streamlined. So I don't know if that maybe means that if there are flight issues that they need to be improved. Another sticker on the bottom of the drone that I didn't get a really good look at, so it was a little more difficult to translate, but it came across as the small package has been brushed with the gimbal. I don't really know what that means. Another sticker says 10 work orders. So maybe that means that this is prototype 1 of 10 for this particular configuration. But as you continue watching this video, you can tell this drone has been in a wreck for sure. One of the arms is busted off, and then the battery is cracked, which is interesting. And you can tell by the view of the body that the battery is a slide in from the back, like the more recent DJI drones. So maybe it fell and then landed on that back corner. Interesting to see the resiliency of these things. The battery still seems to work, just the plastic is all cracked, although that is a little dangerous. And while the body looks very similar to the Air 3, it looks bigger. This thing looks beefy, it's chunky, and I don't know if that's to accommodate the larger battery or if it is to accommodate maybe some additional components inside. I wasn't able to resolve any of the other QR codes. I wasn't able to resolve any of the other QR codes or any of the other information on the drone. The motors look pretty standard. Otherwise, really all we can say about this camera is, or all that we can say about this drone, is that it's going to have a gigantic image assembly, camera package built into it. And that tells us that they're definitely going with bigger sensors. We're definitely going to be getting some advanced or improved sensor tech on here. I would be fine if they honestly left the 24mm alone, maybe some slight improvements in dynamic range or something like that. But what I'd really love to see in this drone is, number one, increase the sensor size on those two other cameras. Bring it up to 1 inch on the 77mm, bring it up closer to 1 inch, maybe 1/1.3, or if you do a full 1 inch on the 166mm, bring up the resolution on that 166mm camera up to 48 megapixels. Then everything else you can just bring up a little bit, slightly faster, maybe slightly better flight times, slightly better transmission distance, maybe slightly quieter, maybe a little more streamlined, although again, with that bigger body, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Please keep it under a kilo, keep it under 1,000 grams. There are also additional cameras on the top and what looks to be a 180-degree camera for omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, which would be great to improve that, right? Bigger cameras, more resolution, more of a field of view, better processing. All those things are those are iterative improvements. Those seem pretty obvious. And as you make those things better, the camera, the drone itself gets better, which is good. I am very happy to see that DJI is just continuing to push forward, and hopefully, considering all of the kind of questionable situations here in the United States with our ability to continue flying drones, especially those made by DJI. Anyway, I'm just glad to see that we're getting new technology and an advancement in this particular market where I am. This looks super cool. I also hope that we get more options. The Cine was great, but I think if maybe the drone supported CF Express or faster SD cards, we would be able to get more formats and not have to honestly fork out a couple grand more to get one with an SSD so that we would be able to record in ProRes RAW, or just give us more options on the drone. Don't force us to spend thousands of dollars more. And then also limit us by the cameras. I think that was a poor move by DJI. I think the 3 was a less popular option than the 2 was when compared to its predecessor. And I think that the 3 Classic is the response to that. And hopefully with this drone, they learn their lesson. All right, that's what we've got. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. And thank you again everyone who's been supporting the channel over the years or this year, since I've really been, I think, pouring a little bit more effort and time into it. I think there's some really fun stuff happening in our industry, and I think it's really fun to talk about it. And here's my question for everybody down in the comments. And I really want to see some good answers on this. I'm very curious. Where do you stand in terms of buying a drone? Do you already have a drone and you're happy with it? Are you looking for a drone and you would potentially be waiting for a 3S or a 4 on the air side, or this Mavic 4 on the high end? Are you a mini person? Let me know down in the comments. Or are you waiting or are about to buy something from one of the other manufacturers that are coming out on the scene? Let me know down in the comments. Also, just a quick plug. I'm I'm doing a bad job at this, but I'm actively trying to rebuild my Instagram. I had to remake it. If you remember from the beginning of this year, when I kind of got back into making YouTube videos and getting back into this scene, my Facebook and Instagram accounts were hijacked, hacked, and then deleted after a lengthy appeals process with Facebook, with no reason, no information, no nothing. And I had inside people at Facebook helping me out with that project in trying to recover my Instagram account. But it's gone, as is my Facebook account that I had for 10 plus years. But they're gone, and I'm redoing them. So I'll put links down below, and you've probably seen some across the screen here in this video. I'd really appreciate it if a couple of people could go and follow me there, and follow me on Facebook if you're still doing the Facebook thing. I'm still trying to figure out TikTok and what I want to do there, or if I want to do anything there. But let me know down in the comments what you feel or how you feel about these drones and where you think you're going. But glad to see that DJI is not slowing down, regardless of what it seems might be the potential for some restrictions here in the United States. Obviously, the United States is not their only market, but it's a big one. Anyway, thanks so much. Appreciate everyone, and I will see you in the next one.